Hey everybody, in this episode of Emerald City here on AFTERBUZZ TV, we're breaking down episodes 1 and 2 of Season 1, The Beast Forever and Prisoner of the Abject. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Emerald City is getting a whole new look. Check it out.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Going old school.
How can you not?
Yes.
Like, get all excited, guys. Come
Hey everybody,
on.
welcome to the Emerald City After Show here on AFTERBUZZ TV. That's right, we are breaking down the new NBC series, Emerald City.
Emerald City?
Emerald City. Yeah.
It's when
Emerald
Siri
City.
goes green.
That's right.
Emerald City.
Emerald City, which just had its debut this past Friday, so we'll be breaking it down this evening. I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie.
And hey guys, my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane, and we are live in the chat. Thank you so much for already firing up the room. I was so excited to see. I'm like, there's so many people talking about this. This is great. So if you're watching it live, chat with us. If you're watching it later, comment down below because we want to know what you thought of this episode.
That's right. And speaking of ways to get in touch with us, so you can like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and as Kari's mentioned, she's got the chat up and running, so hop on in there. You guys are already in there right now, firing off about your thoughts about the show. So yes, we'd love to hear about them as we break down this episode. So Emerald City, another take on The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Are you a fan of the original story?
I like, it's been forever since I've seen the original movie, but I really liked it, and I also really liked Return to Oz. Which I'm like, that was nice and dark and scary.
Yes.
So that was really cool, and so this is why I was excited to see where it went.
Now, this seems very much like there's been other adaptations like The Wiz or Tin Man on Sci-Fi.
I do like The Wiz. Yep.
The Wiz.
The Tin Man was pretty weak on Sci-Fi. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It had so much potential, but there was just like a couple things that were just like, it was painful. But anyway, I like the visual concept of that, and like this, I love the visuals. Yeah,
so it was interesting to see them kind of taking a more, I don't know, as the reviews and stuff that I've read about it, taking more like a Game of Thrones kind of approach to.
That's a popular thing now. Come on, get on the bandwagon.
There you go.
So that's what people are wanting to watch.
So in terms of when you're seeing an adaptation of, I guess you can say The Wizard of Oz, a very beloved story.
Yes.
When you want to see that, do you enjoy seeing it when they kind of really push the boundaries, really kind of stretch what time period, location, scale, look of what that original story is?
Yes, and I want to say that I liked how this, even though it's a familiar story that we all know, is changing it up enough that you're like, well, I mean, we probably know Dorothy's going to get to Emerald City at some point, but I like how they're introducing the other characters we already know about, and just other aspects to it are just very different.
So, because it's always interesting when you see something like this, which really kind of takes a different approach to the original tale, how they choose to adapt it, and how much of it, the enjoyment for fans is just watching to see how different things from the original tale appear up in this new version.
Well, even just getting the Scarecrow, like that was, it made the same kind of visual of someone stuck up as the Scarecrow would be positioned, but it's not really a Scarecrow, and just changing that up, or even the name of Toto. Come on, I liked that.
Oh, come.
Because I was like, well,
man.
One, it's a police dog that I'm like, well, generally they don't train them in English. I thought it's like German commands or something. So she wouldn't even know, but it's probably a smart dog that it will listen to her enough. But she didn't name it, and then so I thought that was kind of cute because I'm like, how is she gonna name it Toto? And then someone else did, so it was better.
That's how they speak. That's how they pronounce dog in their language.
Yes.
So
why not?
Yeah. Okay. Sounds very cool.
I just want to know how they transitioned into English.
Yeah.
Like I felt that was almost magic. Like he was almost like funneling into almost like a babble fish, like the two languages were merging, so then he spoke English a little bit, but nobody else did. So I'm like, why does he know English?
Yeah.
Unless that's what everybody else in the Emerald City and all the other regions speak, because so far everybody else has understood her. So it's only that tribe.
Yes.
So then that kind of makes sense of like maybe one guy in town can know how to speak to the outsiders if they come in.
That's true. I guess it'd be interesting to see, certainly Dorothy, not the very first person to come through from our Earth to Emerald City.
Well, that's what I said. Things from the sky are not a good thing.
Yes.
So I'm like, how many times is something falling from the sky?
Well, speaking of that, the sky kind of leads us right into at the beginning of the episode here. We see a storm. Storm brewing and a woman running through the storm carrying a baby. She knocks on her door, and we see a close-up of the lady's hand, and she's got some, with her tattoo or some sort of marking on her hand, kind of like, just dots in a circle.
I actually missed that. I didn't see that very well, so that's good to know.
Yeah. And they go in, and then we just cut to 20 years later.
I felt she was dropping off the baby, so she went in with him?
She did
the
go.
baby, her.
Yeah. I think she went into that.
Okay.
Because we see it from a distance.
Yeah.
So I assume that she went in and probably, of course, didn't stay.
Because it's Dorothy, but we don't know how Dorothy is separated from her birth mother, right?
Well, it seems like she gave them.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like that woman came there and was like, hey, take care of my baby.
Take care of this baby. I got to go. Yeah. And you would think that perhaps she has some sort of connection to Emerald City. Somehow.
That's my guess.
Yes.
Yes.
As to what that is, I don't know.
I also think the dead body in her home was someone from Emerald City somehow.
Yes.
I don't know how they come back to our world, but
yeah, I mean, certainly if we can get taken there must be a way. Well, of course, in the original story, there's a way to get back. So, just you have to click your heels, right? Isn't that?
There has to be some other way.
There's no place like home. Is that what you just say?
Well, so now would it be clapping?
That's true. That's very true. But when we come back to present, it's 20 years later, present day. Young Dorothy, who's a doctor now, she lives in Lucas, Kansas.
Nurse.
And, is she a nurse or is she a doctor?
She's a nurse because she teases the other doctor of like, I'm not trying to be a doctor.
Oh, gotcha. Yes.
Though nurses are very skilled and know a lot though too. So
don't doubt. Yes. She's still awesome. She's still awesome. Yes.
Just saying.
But we find out that her birth mother has come back into town. And Dorothy's still kind of reluctant to approach her. So she'll drive to her trailer and watch her throw out the garbage, but just sit there in her truck and kind of observe her from a distance and not really interact with her.
Just get it over with, Dorothy.
Yeah, so there's clearly a story to be told about Dorothy's birth mother, because so clearly she drops her off, goes away for a while, and then comes back into town. So who knows where she was for that 20 years and why now she felt like it was okay to come back and be around Dorothy.
Well, the aunt was which is one of those, not really, I think. But she said, like, now she's back in town, and it means she's want contact. Someone in the chat made a good point of, how do we know, though, that woman is actually your mother, or was Dorothy delivered by her?
True.
I thought they took her out of Oz to protect her, kind of a situation, like one of those storylines of something's important about her, and so for her safety, they got her out of Oz and put her in our world.
That could be true. We were assuming that it's a mother. It could just be some kind of protector of some sorts. But still gone for some length of time, and now all of a sudden feels like, all right, I can be around this person again. So still curious exactly what happened to her during those 20 years. Yeah,
or what happened before, because someone asked that too, of like, well, the question is what happened 20 years ago that
made her drop off.
Yeah.
Yep. Things we'll find out during the course of these 10 episodes, or 8 more episodes as we have after this. So she goes back and talks with her Aunt Em, and just finds out like, oh yeah, I guess I should try to make some sort of connection. And then a storm starts brewing. You know how it is in Kansas.
And then she's going to go outside. I like that too. Like, there's a weather report, like, storm. Looks out on the horizon. Oh, crap, that looks really bad. It's all right. I'm going to get in my car and go. Okay.
Have you ever had any interest in being like one of those tornado chasers?
No, not really. But I do know, being a California native, when I was in Colorado and we watched, like, the movie Tornado from the 90s, that wonderful gem, I was with cousins, and I'm like, dude, this is really scary. And they're like, but you have earthquakes in California. I'm like, yeah, that I never really noticed even.
Did you mean Twister?
Twister, thank you.
Okay. Tornado.
Thank you.
That was like the sci-fi version of Twister. It was Tornado.
No, Twister, thank you so much. But, like, to me, that was a scarier thing. I'm like, dude, that, like, destroys stuff. Earthquakes, I mean, yes, we have had some big ones, but
Bill Paxton, man, he can just tell by the dirt what's going on. He just lifts up those scenes where he just lifts up like, yes, I got it. But of course, a storm starts to brewing, and it is going crazy by the time she gets to her birth mother's trailer and goes inside and finds a body, as you were mentioning. So we see a dead body there, and then she finds that out to like the little storm cellar that's there, and she sees her birth mother down there, or we're assuming the birth. I'm just going to call her birth mother.
It is, yeah.
Just for the sake of this.
Karen. Wait,
yes.
Is her name Karen?
I think so, yeah.
You know what's really funny?
What?
I'm adopted. My birth mom's name is Karen.
Wait a minute.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, my name's really Dorothy. I'm kidding.
Let me see your hands. Make sure you don't have that.
No tattoos.
No, okay. All right. Just checking.
But I mean, Dorothy has the hand tattoos, but she doesn't yet. So, or does.
She does, yeah. Because I think she was adjusting the rearview mirror. and there was a markings there right there in her hand. Kind of intriguing.
Yes.
But of course, she's talking to her birth mother. She's saying, "Hey, we got to get you help." Like, no, you have to get out of here. It's not safe. Just leave me. Get the heck out of here.
I don't think she was referring to the weather either.
No, because certainly there's a dead body in there. She's injured as well. So, while they do have the cops coming, and which should be a sign of like hope and like, all right, this is great. Karen's like, no, just go. So steals up, at least closes the door to the storm cellar.
Yes.
So I feel like Karen not written off the canvas yet. I think she can still be in play.
Yeah.
But as there's a cop there that draws a gun on Dorothy. So feels
it was
like
weird.
Yeah, I think as you were saying, somebody from the other side may be coming over here this way as well.
Or what if the people from the other side are here and they're undercover? Like they're not regular cops from here. Like they're Emerald City people or something like that.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Or
how deep does this like web weave?
I guess the other assumption you can make is that while Dorothy was down there, the cop got there and went inside first and found the dead body.
That was
and
my
then
thought.
assumed.
He was going to shoot at her like, there's a dead body. And
yeah, so maybe made that assumption, maybe not necessarily
that was
a bad
my other
person.
guess.
But sucked away by that tornado.
Yeah.
So Dorothy hops in the cop car though. It's got a canine in the back.
I almost thought, I'm like, should she buckle up? Because but then you'd be hit from the back to fly out the windshield. I get into really random practical details when I'm watching something. Because later, also, when she hits the tree, I'm like, well, at least the airbag went off because she could go through the window.
That's true.
Yeah.
So she gets spun through a tornado and lands in what we know now is Oz. She doesn't know the exact place where she is, but she just smashes right into a lady walking kind of in slow motion-esque with the billowing red trails of her dress.
They just filmed that so well. I'm like,
yes, that's a nice little shot for that.
Like, oh, it's gorgeous in the snow. Red on,
Thought that was really cool, and just what we think kills this woman.
Yeah.
At least for the moment, we think that she's dead. So like.
Oh yeah, no, got hit by a car. I was waiting if she would run over her.
Oh right.
Like then I was thinking that would kill her, and I'm like, well, that's a fun way to change it. Like it's not a house falls on her, but she gets run over by a car. But I like how they incorporate it, and she's not just dead that quickly, because that's almost a little too easy. If they what did they call them? They're not the Munchkins. They're like
Mudgeons or Mudge.
Yeah, it was another play on words in a way. I'm like, that's a nice way to change those syllables up a little bit, but it's still the same kind of word.
Yeah, and not make them little people, but young kids.
Yes, there's a lot of a lot of little children, and so they just get hit by that they say like, oh, you killed her and that's it, and so
they do not seem happy about it.
No. I think they were more not necessarily like, yay, we're free. They're more just like, do you know how much trouble you're in and like how big of a deal it is, the severity of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Because they've taken the body and they're just like the village tribe. They're like doing dances and stuff like this around the dead body for exactly like whether it's celebration or warding off of.
Yeah, we don't quite know.
Yeah. But whatever it is, they assume that, as they tell her, that a witch can only kill a witch. So they assume that Dorothy is a witch. And like maybe people back in Old Salem, they decided to dunk her to figure out what the deal is with her.
Because that's what you do with witches.
Oh, yeah.
Because that totally works.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Which I can understand from Dorothy's point of view. She's like, what? I don't know where I am. I just ran into some person, and now I'm being accused of being a witch, and now I'm being dunked.
She's like, I'm nobody.
What is going on?
I love that her tank top stays precariously in place a lot. It's always like, there's one shot later where Lucas is reach over and grabs like right on her rib cage, and it pulls the top down, and the next shot is from a different take because it's back up higher. See, I notice weird stuff too.
Now, for this, like at least with the original Wizard of Oz movie, part of the fun of it was these people that she interacted with at the beginning of the movie pop up in the film later as these different characters, whether it be the Scarecrow, Tim Wisman, the Cowardly Lion.
I don't think that's happening.
No, that's not happening in this. But do you miss seeing that where you have the kind of touchdowns between this reality and ours?
I like it that it's not, because that makes it more of a magical thing rather than it's in your head.
Okay.
Because if someone you know, that makes it less credible that it is real. Then it's more imaginary because it's not a new creation. It's something you already know.
And you're thinking, I'm just imagining this. I must be asleep.
So I want it to be real. So I like that it's not those people that she already knows. But I wondered that. I'm like, are we going to see? But we didn't even get to see them enough to really establish what they look like. That if they brought someone in, I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah,
did we see them already?
Yeah, the aunt, the uncle, and the one doctor she flirts with.
Yeah.
Other than that.
And even that, we barely saw his face.
Yeah, and the one lady that had the trouble with the nail polish.
Oh, I did like her though.
Right, yeah.
That was funny.
So I was like, oh, she can have some kind of like kernel
Yes.
of wisdom or knowledge that's going to play into this, but.
Oh, the Viking Munchkins. They call them more like Munchkins. Yes, I did like that. They kind of like were Vikings.
Yeah, and as a person who does the Viking after
Native
show.
Americans, actually, was more what I was thinking. Because I was like, wow, it's very Native American-esque. And then, like, but they, like, how they were dressed made me think Vikings-esque.
It definitely looked like that.
Mm-hmm.
But she's basically just a trespasser in the freelance, and so they are going to exile her. That's what the tribal elders have decided. Guess what? We voted. You're being exiled from here. Which, for somebody that isn't from there, I don't know, it seems like a huge punishment. Like, guess what? We don't want you here. Okay, I don't live here. So that's all right, I guess.
Yeah, but it was more like, here, we need to hurry up and get you out of our town. And I just think it's interesting that he's like, well, I was actually ready to kill you. So.
Yeah.
But that is like, okay, I feel that's a little harsh. Gotta jump to killing people?
Yeah. But he does say, like, this was going to attract the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, he didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah,
so.
which we cut to right till we get our first shot of Oz. What did you think of the interpretation of Oz in this?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's like city by the sea, and then there's the giant statues, which we learn more about those later. But I was like, oh, that's interesting, and it's very grandiose.
And I like the interpretation of the flying monkeys.
Yes!
I thought that was kind of cool. Yes! I thought that was kind of cool.
See, that's a neat way to change it up. I like when shows get creative like that, where it's just like, here, let's just change it, because we already know the other version, so let's just do something totally different. And, like, that makes sense of a flying monkey. Be like, well, maybe it's more in that shape to, like, pick things up or do maneuverability or something like that. But it can, the video camera aspect, and it looks like old film, and like that was so cool.
That was cool.
I like that.
And we get our first look at the Wizard of Oz, Vincent D'Onofrio. What did you think of him as the wizard?
Oh, I don't trust him at all. But I don't know if that's casting, because like that actor, I'm like, you were a bad guy before in Daredevil, and I don't know if I trust you.
I mean, he's a great actor, and yet.
But you don't think he's.
And yet I felt underwhelmed by him in this. I don't know why.
Ow. Can you be more specific?
For me, I just certainly, of course, and I'm basing it basically if you're looking at the film.
I was gonna say it's only the first episode. So.
True. I mean, Oz the Great and Powerful, very much bombastic, and certainly that is a front that he's putting on because just he's more of a guy that's playing a con on all these people, which I feel like certainly. Vincent D'Onofrio's character is doing. There's elements of that too when we see him take off his wig and stuff.
Oh, I was waiting for the beard to come off too.
And maybe because the fact that at least in the film, and I'm basing this just off on the film and just my feelings for that, is you never really see him. You just see him as a giant head. So it's way to say more.
Well, you see him at the very, very, very end.
Yeah, you see him as a human when they discover him. But at the beginning, everybody's interactions with him is this just grandiose head that's this all important figure, and he seems just more like boom. And this one, he just didn't have that. I didn't feel like that resonant like authority or like from him that I felt like I should.
Yeah, but the way he did the "I will protect all of you" speech, I had it a little bit there. I actually just watched The Wit. No, not The Wiz. What's the new James Franco one?
Oh, the Oz the Great and Powerful?
Yes, I watched that, and that one though I liked some of it. But I liked how they show how he figured out to do the face thing as a illusion to trick people and make you seem bigger and magical. So I'm okay with him not doing that in this because maybe he did that 20 years ago. Because we don't know how long he's been ruling, and maybe it phased out. But it seems with this character they're going much more like science and not him with any magic. So he shouldn't be false like a illusion of any sort. Yeah,
and whether it's, and not even just like, certainly I brought like that sense where he kind of throws an illusion in the film, but at least that sense of charisma, just authority.
He's not very charismatic,
no. And I just like,
it's kind of scary.
Yeah, and I just wanted to feel
but that's why everybody listens to him. I want to know where the witches aren't just like, screw you, take over and kill him.
Well, clearly, what they think is magic, which I guess, as they say, is like any science that you don't understand can be considered magic. So for them, I feel like, certainly Vincent D'Onofrio from Our Earth has come there with a bag of practical tricks that, or weapons or whatever it is that to them appear to be magic as well, or some science.
Well, the new little apprentice lady he gets later, who their relationship is super creepy. I'm sorry. Did you guys think it was creepy? Like the first assistant lady he had, that was not weird. Like he's like, wow, I would think you're on my side. Like that was fine. Like felt kind of equal enough. New one, I'm like, he's gonna rape her. I'm like so creeped out by them. But especially when she's like, I know I'm jumping ahead, guys, and sorry. But she's like, oh, I bet you don't understand that stuff. She's like, no, I find it so fascinating. And then he's like, oh, do you now?
Yeah,
but
finally.
that is like the science. I mean, we don't really get to see anything, so I'm thinking they are bringing science from maybe our world that they don't understand. So,
yeah, so it seems...
it is magic because in a way it's a different kind of magic.
Yeah. But we see them. They're looking at this video, this footage that the monkey drone has caught.
Yes.
And they realize, all right, the Witch of the East is dead. That means that's trouble. Find out whoever did this.
Yes.
We got to get rid of them. They can't make it to the Emerald City.
No.
So
he thinks they're going to be dangerous.
Yeah, my head man, head off there with take your troops, get over there.
Because this also means the coming of the Beast Forever.
Yeah, the Beast Forever. That is
weird.
it. So,
it just sounded weird. Like that description, like my grammatical brain is freaking out. I'm like, what? The Beast Forever. It sounds weird. Yes? No?
I mean, because they speak, they name check this several times over the course of the episode. This beast and signs that you see in the sky, whether it be storms or
swapped it. Like the Forever Beast. Sounds better than Beast Forever.
The Beast Forever.
Yeah, I don't
You're just a beast forever, man. What's up with you?
Yes.
So there's something that has been set in motion now, certainly with Dorothy landing in there. How much she's actually tied into everything, I guess we'll find out during the course of this series. Certainly, if you're Dorothy Gale and it's the Wizard of Oz stories, you're going to be pretty well tied into everything. Exactly how she fits in, we'll find out.
Oh, yeah. No, we don't know enough for sure. Random fact, thank you guys in the chat room. It's... Oliver Jackson-Cohen is a character named Lucas, whose character in the original books, and his name is the Scarecrow. So I want to look into the original books, actually. The more I was seeing this, I'd be curious of how similar and dissimilar this version takes the story.
Oh, yeah, and as they're getting out of there, we find out, as you mentioned, the tribe gives the name, one of the members escorting Dorothy out of the Freelands names the dog Toto. So that's I speak to them, and they come to a way where you could take the long way around to get out of their lands. That's more
safer.
safe. Yeah, or you can take the more direct path, which is a lot more dangerous.
He didn't actually say it was more dangerous. He just said the long way around is safer, and then this is faster.
Yeah. And we're going to go faster.
But that implies it's going to be more dangerous.
Yeah.
However, it didn't seem that dangerous. Just don't trip.
Yeah.
That was the most danger of it. And even that, we don't know if you can... Okay, now we're really going to get into it, guys. That little pit thing, we see later that they're not in that space, or they are at the same time. So the question is, if you fall into it, would you become part of it, or is it a separate, thing that you have to be put there?
Yeah, like how much of you are really in there and how much of you just out in another space and you're kind of split between two areas.
Because the way we see it later, they're outside and inside. So is it more like mental? But she does see the bodies.
Yeah. So very interesting how that, I don't know exactly what that means.
No. Maybe they'll get into it later, especially if they can free those people at all.
Yeah, it seemed like that's
a possibility.
Yeah, the prison Abject seems very kind of like basically just a bunch of people in a mud mosh pit, just kind of grinding on each other.
I thought it was like a weird witch, not necessarily such a bad thing at first, and then I'm like, wait, no, this is really weird.
And there's the weird guy, all his skin flayed off, just in red, sitting inside the tree, watching him or whatever. I'm like, okay, what's this guy about? So we just found it's a bad place to go. Anybody that's practiced magic, the wizard has banished him to this area, thanks to and now with the Witch of the East dead, she was the one that would have the ability to be able to get these people out, which includes the tribe member's wife that is taking Dorothy through this.
Yeah, with her bright eyes, those whites all in the dark.
So we can see why this tribe member's not that thrilled with Dorothy, because now he's lost his chance to get his wife free of this.
Yeah.
But then she gets out and she goes to the Yellow Brick Road, which is filled with poppy seeds.
Because it's opium.
Yes. Which I'm like, thanks.
She's like, okay.
Cool. All right.
Well, I guess if he thinks she's totally clueless and not from around there, he might need to clue her in. I don't know.
And then we basically come across Dorothy as she's struggling along there. She comes across a tipped over cart, a lot of wreckage strewn about, and then she sees a man hanging on a cross. all kind of covered with dirt and straw, in which would kind of be our Scarecrow in this interpretation. But in this time, it turns out to be just a man who doesn't, much like the Scarecrow, doesn't have a brain, doesn't remember who he is. So, yeah, kind of ties
It's a different way to say he doesn't have a brain.
Yes.
I'm waiting for other characters. At first, I thought they said Tim. I thought Tib would be our Heart.
Ah. But
Heart problem.
Yeah. But
So it'd be a
true.
different thing.
Yeah, clearly she's
I don't think so as much now because they're not together as much.
Yeah.
But I feel they'll come back.
It'd be interesting to see where that character goes.
But I have a crazy thought of who that character is going to be.
Ooh, all right.
I'll wait
we're
for
gonna-
predictions.
Okay, got it. Do you like the way this is interpreted? Would you rather have seen something more literal, like seeing a real scarecrow, or you like the idea? Oh, no, we're just going to tweak it
But
slightly.
it's like most legends and things. Like you can understand where the idea came from, and it's just diverted, so many different ways. And it's like playing telephone. It's just a different thing. I don't mind. He was tarred and had straw, so it's like he's a scarecrow.
Yeah, but I guess like if you're going to be willing to embrace the fantastical in the sense where there's this beast forever, there are witches, why not have a man made of straw? Why not have?
I did read. It's been a while, guys, but I did read. I think I finished it. I read Wicked and I saw the play Wicked, and one of the versions, I think it's in the play. Spoiler, not spoiler. The Scarecrow was actually a lover of Elphaba, and to save him, she turned him into a scarecrow so he wouldn't die.
Oh,
So he
interesting.
started off as a person, and they were going to hurt him so bad or something like that. And so to make him impenetrable or impervious to being hurt, made it a scarecrow that he won't die if they stab him with knives or something like that. So there maybe could be something later.
We'll see, yes.
Yeah.
And we'll see how our Tin Woodsman is depicted as well as a cowardly lion.
Well, we've kind of, just from some trailer footage, we already see the lion's not probably going to be a real lion. It's the face. But we did already have a couple references dropped by the soldier guys of it's lions. So I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of Lions reference.
Yeah.
So as they're kind of figuring out, of course he doesn't remember who he is, and he says, Dorothy, why don't you name me? And she doesn't want that responsibility. She's like, that's a lot of responsibility to ask me. And he keeps badgering her, and he just reaches out. And first thing that pops to her mind is her hometown, Lucas.
It's not a bad name.
Yeah.
Lucas is a good name.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's how he gets his name. And he takes a sword with him.
Do they have instant... Okay, do you guys like their instant chemistry? I'm mixed feelings on it. I kind of like it, and then I'm kind of like, it's a little weird.
I don't... I mean, I could just see them kind of... I don't see romance right yet. Are you...
When she lifted him up till... When he had the wound on the side and their faces together, they both... Unless they just really have that much chemistry going on or something, but it felt like I don't know, it already was like, they're rushing into this romance fast, and... there were just other bits, which, I mean, now she's not as cool with him, but I don't know, I felt like we're moving along. But it does feel like he likes her more than she likes him.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking they're, hooking up, guys. What do you think?
Yeah,
they're not hooking up yet, sorry.
Yeah.
But
It's
it's
heading in that
already,
direction.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not...
Not seeing it?
It's
Okay.
like, I'm not rooting for that.
I'm not rooting for it per se. I think it's a little weird, but...
You've already ordered your shirt.
come on. Also,
Lucas and Dorothy forever.
Come on. He's like, well, what do I look like? You look very I'm not going to say handsome. She was ready to say that. So she's instantly, infatuated with him right away. But, just saying.
What I do like, though, is that who comes as they take a little break and they're sleeping, but all of a sudden they realize, hey, guess what? The Witch of the East, not dead. She is not where we left her here in the tribe. She's gone now. And, in fact, she's crouching over Dorothy and Lucas as they sleep. And when they wake up, they're kind of being tormented by her. Kind of, as you were mentioning, kind of like half there on the yellow brick road, half in the prison Abject. And I do like as Dorothy's trying to explain what happened. We see the moment that you really like the best, and I thought it was really cool as she pulls out the gun.
That was smart. But at first I was like, is she really going to go that way? No, don't touch it. Don't touch it. And then she goes, oh, wait, well, this is a way to get rid of her. Yeah, don't touch it. And then, of course, that makes people want to play with it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pointing the wrong way. Well, all the viewers at home are like, oh, I'm waiting. And then she's like, just squeeze the trigger. But I thought it was weird, though, that she wanted to lift it all the way to her face. It wasn't like, I'm going to look at it here. But I mean, that would still maybe have the same, but still.
I thought the way the scene kind of played out, though, I did like it.
It's good.
Yeah. So,
and
Dorothy
then the beautiful shot of her robes.
Yeah, just cascades perfectly out.
They're like, no wind, hold it down. We gotta do it over.
Now we realize that there's still 2 other witches there. The Mother South, she is passed away. She's died, and with her death has led to no new witches being born. So all we have now are just the Witch of the West and, of course, the Witch of the North.
Do we know why there aren't new witches being born? They said the one. Okay, so here I saw a lot of you guys talk about this in the chat, and we may as well clarify it. Is so we know Witch of the East was the one who got killed.
Yes.
And we know now, technically, isn't the West the one in the whorehouse?
Yes,
okay.
kind of the drug-addled one.
Yes. But they've changed it a little bit, because I always thought Glinda was the West.
Yes.
But they've made her now the North, which is fine. Switch it, whatever. And then I thought they said the South was their mother. The way I thought the wizard was explaining is I thought he said the Mother Witch or something like that.
Yeah, Mother South.
Mother South.
Yes.
Which I don't know if it necessarily meant their mother per se, but it seemed like then maybe is she the only was because he said she's dead, killed by Beast Forever. Was she the only one who could have children and make other witches? Can the other 2 not? Because it seems like
I guess
confused.
not.
Yeah.
It seems like with her death is kind of led to the inability to be able to make new witches.
Yeah.
So whether that plays into what Dorothy's got now.
That was not a good, evolutionary advantage on their part.
No, there's only one person that can keep making more witches. Don't let her die. We let her die, that's bad news for us.
Though then my thought is Dorothy's a witch, and she's one who can help keep them going. Not that I want her to be pumping out babies, but that was my other thought.
What a dark turn this is taking at the end. She's just sitting there making babies by the end of the story. Like, wow, this is a great story. Oh, all right.
Yes.
But we do find out that when Dorothy does kill the Witch of the East, though, much like in the film or any of the versions of the story where she takes the slippers from the witch, this she takes the gauntlets, the really kind of gold.
Take them. They move.
They appear onto her.
Yeah, and then it's almost like they burned, and then they were there and disappeared.
Yeah, so her gauntlets with the cool gold ruby encrusted gauntlets there kind of appear on Dorothy's hands and then kind of fade into her or some sense.
Good question. Back to the witch killing herself. Someone made a good point in the chat room. So witch can only kill a witch, but if you kill yourself, does that count because you're a witch killing a witch? I think so. Per the definition, only a witch can kill a witch. You did it.
Yeah. So, and if you're bringing in something that something scientific that it seems magical, I guess it would be fair to assume that you could be called a witch too. So.
All right.
A loose definition of the prophecy.
Yes. And chat room, you guys seem very divided about that chemistry thing too. Some people are like, I love it, it's great. And other people are like, no, slow down.
Yeah. I'm on the slow down side.
But you at least guys notice it seems a little fast. They're moving quickly in Oz.
Now we have the other ones that are the other characters on the canvas here. So we have Tip, who's caught in almost want to think like a Rapunzel situation.
Yes. Anybody else think it was Tim?
I thought it was Tim for the longest time. That's what I thought too.
What?
When I looked at IMDb and said Tip, oh, all right.
It's your medicine. And I was like, I don't trust that medicine. All that medicine it's like a lie of like, here, you need to take this so you don't die. But it's like, it's actually, have you seen, that's another story too, where like just taking that is actually slowly poisoning you, so you'd never get better.
Yeah.
But it's not so much to kill you, but you're not well enough to leave.
That's So
yes,
she's he is held inside of apothecary,
which I thought was totally a girl right away, guys. Anybody else? I know a couple of you said so.
Very feminine looking girl,
yes.
Or feminine looking boy.
Very pretty.
Yeah.
It was the voice too. It was the voice, how he talked, and the visual. I'm like, okay, he's pretty. That's fine. But it was just something else. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Mum, I guess is the name of the apothecary. Person that runs that.
Say Mom, and I'm like, Mom?
Yeah.
Mom?
Makes like the branches kind of part there, so she's able to go out and find a chicken.
Yeah.
But it turns out that Dorothy and Lucas are on their way there because he's septic from the wounds that he had received. So need to go there to find some sort of medicinal relief for him. So as he leaves, as Mum leaves, Jack, Tip's best friend, tries to free him.
Yep.
Isn't having any luck because Dorothy and Lucas show up and kind of prevent him from making his all the way in there. And then all of a sudden the Mum is back. And it's like, you can use my herbal garden, but that's it, until she sees Lucas's sword and says, all right, bring him in. And then wants a little revenge for him, assuming that he's a wizard's guard. And who knows, that could be very true. Lucas could be one of the wizard's guard that has lost his memory and doesn't realize. But I would think that's almost too simple of an answer.
Yeah, but it is interesting. Maybe he killed one that he has the sword.
Yeah.
Or it's a family thing. Maybe it's his father or brothers. Maybe his brother was killed and he's going in, or something like that. Yeah, no, I totally right away was like, I don't trust her either. He's like, yeah, bring him inside. I'm like, she's gonna try to kill him.
She does indeed poison him, but also Dorothy, as she walks around, finds Tip slides her a note under the door that says, help me. If somebody slides you a note that said, help me, and you talk to the person that's running that house, and they say, okay, we're done talking about this story, would you just leave that or go, no, I'm letting this person out right away? They just wrote out a thing that said, help me.
Well, Dorothy said more than once, I'm a nurse and I like helping people. I like to help people. So I think she just can't resist that. And I think she understood Mom's speech about protecting your child, and then like that her mother didn't in a way, but I think she's still like just the way she wants to shut that conversation off. Dorothy had a little bit like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, and I could also think for a moment through certainly Dorothy realizes she's in a world that she doesn't really understand, so for her to make assumptions based on her reality might not be appropriate.
Exactly.
But then when she finds out that Mom's poisoned Lucas, she's like, no, that's it. All bets are off about this lady.
Charcoal. Good to know.
Yeah, man, that was cool. Made a little charcoal
great.
drink. Yeah, just drink it all. I bet that tasted delicious.
I like that she's very smart and able to adjust of like, I'm a healer.
Yes.
Doesn't go, I'm a nurse.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So she heals staves off the poison from Lucas. Decides, hey, what I'm feeling, get a freeing Tip. We're getting the heck out of here. They get in a little tussle, and Lucas ends up stabbing Mom, and then beats the heck out of that body.
Hey, she tried to kill you. It's okay.
Yeah. So we have them on the run there. Tip is free and is turned into a girl by the end of the episode.
That medicine was keeping, which I understand that's a way to hide Tip.
Yes.
You know, like make that person not the same sex, so then somebody won't be looking for them. I think somebody already said that it's Osmo or Ozma, which I was like, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
My thought was, that's the Beast.
Oh, maybe. Could
I know
be true.
that's a bit out there, but I'm like, maybe that's why they're trying to keep the medicine so it doesn't turn into the Beast.
Yeah, and the last thing that we have is, of course, the North and the West Witch, they do a ceremony there for the East Witch, and they suck out her magic, her spells. And then we get to watch the West Witch puke them into a glass container. So that magic is preserved for what it seemed to be to make an attack, to take back Oz from the wizard. Seems like that's what seems to be the end goal for that.
Yes.
But that kind of brings us to
crazy ceremony.
Yeah, very crazy ceremony. That dancing and gyrating was wacky.
Apparently, town folk didn't dig it so much, especially with that explosion. Yeah.
So
like,
they kind of, I know it's a little abbreviated wrap up of the first two episodes here. So we'll just do a quick prediction about what you think is going to happen.
All right. I mean, I kind of cheated because someone said
TV predictions.
that it was Ozma or Ozma. Someone wrote Ozma, but I kept thinking it's Ozma. But anyway, my first thought was Tip is actually the Beast, but I feel that's a bit out there. But maybe I want the. No, I was like, wait, no. The North and the East would team up together and take back Oz from the wizard.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what that puked up magic is going to do for us. What's this puked up spell is going to do? Certainly, it seems like it's going to play. That's a way to free people from the prison Abject.
Yes,
if you've got those spells.
I want them to figure. I hope Dorothy. I don't know how she's going to learn spells, but it'd be cool that she does.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's inherently a witch, and so she's able to figure stuff out naturally.
Yeah, and if they have a way to free all those people that know how to use magic, not something that's going to help the wizard at all.
No.
So
take him down.
Yes. So I feel like we're going to be seeing a rebellion coming up here.
Yes.
That's right. So that's going to do it for this episode of Emerald City. But we're going to be back for the rest of the other episodes, breaking it all down. In the meantime, folks, like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Thanks for subscribing to the YouTube channel and hopping in the chat. A lot of talk this episode. Thank you so much. We love having you guys interact with us as we're breaking down the episode. If you want to continue the conversation with us even after the show's over, Kari, where can they find you?
Yes, you guys can find me online at Kari D. Lane. That's Karidlane. I'm like, oh yeah, wait, it's Kari D. Lane. Sorry, anyways. It's been a long day. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Paper Ronnie, who I have this lovely scarf and kind of yogi t-shirt, and I love it. It's comfy and it's very pretty. Thank you.
Very nice. And you can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie, and you can check out Kari and I at 10 o'clock on Popcorn Talk doing Box Office Breakdown. Until next week, folks, we'll see you right back here for another episode of Emerald City here on AfterBuzz TV.
See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.